So our next speaker, it's Ulrich. How do I pronounce it? I always thank you. Because every year I spell it wrongly, so I thought, well, so he has more than 25 years experience in the wind industry and background as a blacksmith and marine engineer. And for 18 years, he was in the big wind, and then in the last 10, a little bit more, maybe because this maybe
it's actually 11 years now.
11 years, so he's been working in small wind. And he's also representing the small wind committee on the advisory board of the Danish Energy Agency. We have the presentation here. Try to move it. Okay. Yeah, perfect.
Okay. As mentioned, my name is Ulrich Høgenhaven.
I will just put you in view.
Okay. 54 years old. I've been in the wind industry for almost 30 years now. Most of the time big wind, but for the past 11 years in small wind, where I started out as CEO at Viking Wind. At that time it was called HH Wind, but we changed the name, but still the same company. I've been working with transport, installation, service, development of it's medium-sized turbines now. I stopped at Vestas at around 4 megawatts in 2006, I think it was. And I've been at Siemens also, doing some lean construction. On the construction work, they did a lot of lean work in the manufacturing process. We took it out on the site also. So with all these, this experience, taking it into the small wind business also. I was actually working as a consultant at Suslon in South Africa on a big project. But there you see the electrical infrastructure is very bad. So even though they put up big wind, it doesn't necessarily get out to the farmers or anything like that, because they just shut down for the power, and then they stand there, oh, we need some electricity anyway. So that was when I thought we need to go back to small wind.
It should work with weekend now.
Yeah, okay. Let's see. Nope, it doesn't. How it works here in Denmark, at least. You need to apply for a building permit. It's a normal building permit, like if you have to build a house or another small building around your house. It is the municipality that makes the assessment effort on environmental, as we call a VVM assessment. For that, you need a technical data sheet on the turbine. You need a approved noise report. Also, in some cases, you have to visualize what it looks like when the turbine is standing nearby. And also, as mentioned, the hearing process is around 4 to 6 weeks for neighbors to submit complaints. And it usually takes around 3 to 6 months. I know Tony was talking about up to 2 years. I've never experienced that in Denmark. Up to 1 year, perhaps, a lot of years ago. But otherwise, it has been running pretty smoothly for our case anyway. Almost 10 years ago, we made a market analysis on an EUDP project where we were also participating. Based on that, there was identified around 40,000 properties where you could put up small wind turbines with an annual average wind speed of 5 to 5.5 minimum. And no obstacles or anything like that. So there's a huge potential in Denmark. And since 10 years, we're probably at 39,500 still place for that. Here we can see the locations and where it's most profitable. You see, of course, along the west coast here, but also down here, and yeah, western coast and Bornholm. So 85% is in these areas with the green spots are. Obstacles for building household wind turbines in Denmark. Household wind turbines are not covered by planning, but can only be set up with a land zone permit, and that's one that takes 3 to 6 months. That's actually made a guideline on how to do this, and also mentioned earlier, the turbine has, at least what the law says, in combination with existing buildings, and the municipalities have somehow said, okay, that's 20 meters, no acceptance. Nevertheless, we can see a few municipalities saying, okay, we can deviate from that and put it a little further away. But also mentioned for safety reasons, you have to put it away a minimum of the total height of the turbine to the nearest building. So we hope that the municipalities would learn a bit from that and even put the turbines a bit further away because of the turbulence from the buildings. That's also both damaging the turbine but also give a lower output. Potential for small wind in Denmark. I would say combine wind, solar, and storage in electricity communities. They are trying to do that, but there's also a lot of obstacles on that regarding the regulations on how to build an electricity community. Let companies located in industrial areas invest in behind the meters renewable energy. Locate areas with weak electricity grids where we can put up small and medium-sized wind turbines to support the grid. We know we have to do a lot with the infrastructure to get all the power from the big wind farms out to the smaller locations. This could help supporting the small grids. Also look on how US subsidize distributed wind, because nothing happens in Europe unless we do something similar. That's for sure for small wind. Yeah, make similar regulations in Europe, and maybe based on local content gives the highest tax credit or feed-in tariffs, whatever. Also protecting Europe as China and US are protecting themselves. Hybrid projects in Denmark. We have been participating in a few. We have a private-owned island called Viking, when they started out with one turbine and photovoltaics, a bit of storage, and they were usually running on diesel generated power, and they were trying to decrease that. After a year or two, they bought the second turbine and also increased the storage capacity and photovoltaic. Now they have realized that even though 2 small wind turbines was not enough, so they have taken them down and put up an old Vestas 225, I think it is. Because on this small island, you have restrictions regarding how close you can be to the coastline. So there was only a very narrow space in the center of the island. So that is why they had to take those 2 down and put up a larger turbine. We have also installed in Greenland testing period since 2018 actually, just to learning about the cold climate, because they wanted to put small turbines up in the rural areas where they also run on the diesel generated power. So, and that's very expensive, because just transporting the diesel out to these very remote areas is very costly. Well, they're still testing. They don't know how to move on that. They're testing a lot of different things, but I think it's a matter of how to finance it right now. But all in all, it went very well, and yeah, it has been running for 6 years, and we had a lot of learnings from the cold climate, and we have taken that into our general design also. We have been running, or we have supported a wind diesel project in Argentina. I think it was built 10, 11 years ago, just before I started out in Viking wind. And they had decreased the diesel oil consumption by 44%, I think it was. 40,000 liters of diesel they save every year with these 3 turbines and a low load diesel generator. Also a very good project, but also been subsidized by NGOs and US aid and stuff like that. So there's something wrong here, but anyway, I think that was it. You can find more about these projects on our webpage. There's also a small movie from the place in Argentina here, when you get access to in Choriaca, very remote place, I should say. Yeah, that's from a manufacturer's point of view on how to approach on small wind in general, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Ulrich. Do you have any question? Yeah.
I just wonder, you've worked in Siemens and you've worked on small turbines. What would you say is the multiple of the price of a kilowatt hour of a small 25 kilowatt turbine, say, compared to a 2 megawatt?
So just the question is what is the price of basically small wind compared to big wind?
Yeah, small winds, at least for our wind turbine, I can say it is around 14 euro cents per kilowatt hour produced over the lifetime of the turbine. And I don't know, big wind is around 7, I think, or something like that, and maybe even less.
It's a smaller gap than I expected.
Sorry?
It's a smaller gap than I would have expected.
Yeah, well, it's our turbine is very simple, so over a 20 years period, it's actually not that bad, and on an average wind side. Of course, if you go, I would never put up a turbine in an urban area, that's for sure. Maybe an industrial area outside the city, but not in an urban area. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, something on that. Any other question? No. Well, then it's an early break. Oh no, sorry.
Yes, but I was just wondering how do you see the potential for small wind power in light of all the things that's happening in the world today with potential war and stuff like that?
I see increasing potential with the war going on in Ukraine, where you can see I think it's 8% of the electrical infrastructure is down. So we're actually going there to promote our turbines so they can get local energy with the farmers. But also even here in Denmark, the farmers are looking, we need some security. If we have to go 3 days without electricity, what about our milk, whatever, our crops? They need the energy, and if we can get them some security in a wind turbine and some storage, we'll definitely do that. So I see that as a increase in demand.
Yeah.
But yeah, driven by war, of course, sadly enough.
Any other question? Then it's an early break.
Yeah.
And a longer break. So you get a clap for that as well, I guess. So we will start again at 15:20 Danish time. So that's in no, sorry, 15:35. So that's in 20 minutes roughly.